Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will talk about the next topic of information theory and coding, which is source coding. To start off this topic, first we should know what will be the source coding and what is the construction of source encoder. Conversion of the output of a discrete memoryless source into a binary symbol sequence, that is binary code word, is called source coding. The device that performs this conversion is called the source encoder. The following figure will show the block diagram of a source encoder. An objective of source encoder is to minimize the average bit rate required for representation of the source by reducing the redundancy of the information source. So, if we talk about source coding, then we should know some important term related to source coding. See the figure here. It is a discrete memoryless source which is known as DMS, which emitted a set of symbols that is represented here x1, x2 up to xm. The bits are entered into a source encoder, and then from this encoder binary sequence, that is a sequence of 0 or 1, will be emitted. So first we should know the code word length. That means a source encoder will create a code that consists of different code word. Now what will be the code word length? Let X be a DMS with finite entropy Hx and an alphabet which consisted of x1, x2 up to xm with corresponding probability of occurrence p of xi, where I tends to 1 to m. Let the binary code word assigned to symbol xi by the encoder have length ni measured in bit. The length of a code word is the number of binary digits in the code word. Then we should know about average code word length. The average code word length L per source symbol is given by L equals to summation of I equals to 1 to m p of xi into ni. The parameter L represents the average number of bits per source symbol used in the source coding process. Next, we talk about code efficiency. The code efficiency eta is defined as eta equals to L mean by L, where L mean is the maximum possible value of L when eta approaches unity. The code is said to be efficient. Next, code redundancy, which was discussed in your previous chapter. I just remembered you that the code redundancy eta is given as eta equals to 1 minus that is called sigma equals to 1 minus eta. So along with this, source coding theorem is very popular with the information theory chapter. The theorem says that for a DMS X with entropy Hx, the average code word length L per symbol is bounded as L greater than equals to Hx. And further, L can be made as close to Hx as derived for some suitable chosen code. Thus, with L min equals to Hx and eta equals to Hx by L. That is code efficiency. Next, we will talk about classification of code. This figure will show different set of code word and their different characteristics. For example, first one will be the fixed length code. A fixed length code is one whose code word length is fixed. Code 1 and code 2 are fixed length code. See that the number of digits present in each code is same for code 1 and code 2 both. Hence it is known as fixed length code. Next we talk about variable length code. A variable length code is one whose code word length is not fixed. All code word of the table except code word 1 and 2 are variable. See that except these two code 1 and code 2, all the code present in the table are variable code length, because code 3 consists of first code word will be 1 bit, then 1 bit, but third and fourth code word bit are 2 bit. Similarly here, code 4, first code word consists of 1 bit, second will be the 2 bit, third will be the 3 bit, and fourth will be the also 3 bit. Hence, the code word length for this code is variable. Next, we talk about distinct code. A distinct code or a code is distinct if each code word is distinguishable from other code word. All code word of table except one are distinct code. That means here code 3. See that code 1 consists of same code word same code word of one code. That means code 1 consists, first code word is 00, then second code word is 01, then again third code word is 00, and fourth code word is 11. That means here two code word is same. That's why it is not known as distinct. But other than code 1, all code word present in each code is distinct because they are separate from each other. Hence, they are all distinct. Now we talk about prefix-free code. A code in which no code word can be formed by adding code symbol to another code word is called as a prefix-free code. Thus, in a prefix-free code, no code word is a prefix of another. What it means? See, if a code word in a code word if in a code each code word, if there is a prefix present with the next code word of that code, it is known as prefix code. For example, see code 2. In code 2, that means code 3. In code 3, first bit or first code word of the code is 0. Now, with this same starting sequence, another code word is present here, that is 00. That means first we can say the first bit of this code word is a prefix of the first code word. That's why it is prefix code. For another one, code 5 is also a prefix code. That means 0 is here present. It is again present in this code, and this code word. So that's we can say that code 246, 2, 4 and 6. Sorry, here 2 and 4. These two code are prefix free code. Yes, it's also 6. Code 2, 4, 6. These three code are prefix free code because no prefix code word is not present here. Now we talk about uniquely decodable code. Distinct code uniquely decodable if the original source sequence can be reconstructed perfectly from the encoded binary sequence. Now, uh, what it means by uniquely decodable code. A PDF file is attached with this video that will see the uniquely decodable code. Now, you should know that uniquely decodable code can be represented as, suppose the original code word is original stream is 100. Suppose if it is encoded with code uh, 3, that means it is known as, sorry, code 2. Then for code 2, it is represented as x3, x2, because x3 is 10 and x2 is 01. See that x2 is 01 and x3 is 10. So if the original stream is 1001, then we can say that the after encoded, it is represented as x3, x2, and no other way this code can be represented. That's why it is uniquely decodable code. But see another example, code 3. In code 3, x1 is 00, x2 is 1, x3 is 00, and x4 is 1. Now, if we same original stream is used here, that is 1001, it can be represented as x3, x2, x2. That means because x3 is here 10, x2 is uh, that is x2 is 1, x3 is 00, and again it is 1, 1001. That's one. X2, x3, and x2. But it is againly another way it can be represented as x2, x1, x1, and x2. That means this code, this 1001, can be represented by this code and this code also. Both is correct. So this code 3 is not uniquely decodable. Next we talk about instantaneous code. Uniquely decodable code is called an instantaneous code if the end of any code word is recognizable without examining subsequent code symbol. The instantaneous code have the property previously mentioned that no code word is a prefix of another code word. For this reason, prefix-free code are sometimes known as instantaneous code. You should remember one thing, that a sufficient condition to ensure that a code is uniquely decodable is that no code word in a prefix-free code of another one is not uniquely decodable. In this example, code 3 is not uniquely decodable, but code 2, 4, 6 are uniquely decodable code. Always prefix-free code are uniquely decodable code, but code 5 is not prefix-free, but it is uniquely decodable code. Next we talk about optimal code. A code is said to be optimal if it is instantaneous and has minimum average L for a given source with a given probability assignment for the source symbol. Then another topic which is related to source coding, which is Kraft inequality. Let X be a DMS with alphabet set Xi, which is consist of X1, X2 up to X7. Assume that the length of the assigned binary code word corresponds to Xi is Ni. A necessary and sufficient condition for the existence of an instantaneous